Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Strength of Purpose podcast. I'm your co-host, Dr. Phil Finemore, owner of WorkFitME Mobile Physical Therapy.
And I'm your co-host, Josh Jewett of Strength of Purpose in Buxton, Maine. The goal of our podcast is helping busy Maine professionals find the mental, emotional, and physical strength to fulfill their true purpose in life.
Josh and I have a passion for sharing our true purpose with others. Join us as we discuss holistic health and wellness tips with our friends, colleagues, and even heroes and mentors of ours to help you strengthen your true purpose in life. And we have another really fun episode today for those of you that have been listening. And if you haven't, welcome, first of all. But for those of you that have been listening, we've been going through a bit of a mini series over the past 4 weeks of the crucial steps that need to be taken anytime we're starting a journey in life. We looked at it through that holistic health and wellness, fitness lens, because that's where Josh and I, our sort of expertise lies.
Sure.
a little bit, but these same steps can be applied to any new journey you start in life, whether you're starting a business or a side hustle, or you want to save more money or invest more money, whatever the case might be. There are 4 crucial steps that we think that are absolutely necessary when you're starting that journey. And just a real quick recap of all 4 of them: it's the importance of having a strong why, the importance of investing in yourself, proper goal setting, and not going it alone, having the proper guidance and support to get you there. So we're going to just hit a few highlights of all these today, and then sort of wrap it all up and explain why these 4 are all important to be doing together as you're starting a journey. Before we get into that, Josh, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Phil. I'm good. Excited about this. Can't wait to get going. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. Let's go for it, Phil. How are you doing?
Awesome. Sounds great. Doing great. Yeah. I think this is it'll be good to sort of wrap these topics up, because I think we covered some pretty good ground and be a lot of good take home messages here with this review and wrap up.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
So jumping right into it here, first and foremost, the importance of having a strong why. And we put this first because without a strong why, we are much less likely to push through the turbulence in our journey. So the common theme with everything we discussed is that there is going to be turbulence, and not only getting through the turbulence, but backing up even a little bit more, having that strong why is actually going to push you to take some of the even scarier steps that you might need to take to start a journey like this, right? It's some people might be going way outside their comfort zone, and if you don't have that strong why, not just pushing you, but also sometimes pulling you in that right direction, some people might never get off the ground. And if they do get off the ground at the first sign of turbulence, they're gonna jump off the wagon. So that's why we put that first. And I think the big take home message here, Josh, is a why, again, has to really drive you and can't simply just be a reason. Okay. So what do I mean by that? The reason might be that you want to lose weight, right? But the why is so that you can go walk through the woods with your dog, or play in the yard with your kids without getting out of breath or having fear of hurting yourself, or be able to walk up and down the bleachers at the kids or grandkids' little league games without an issue. Those types of things that are going to kind of pull at the heartstrings a little bit are what's going to push you and sometimes pull you through starting a journey and making it through a journey. And without that in place, it's going to be really hard to make it happen, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it as mortality. You have one life.
Yep.
I mean, do you want to spend it never trying to reach a goal, or never being able to carry or play with your grandkids or your children? It's something that you really have to dig down deep in your heart to find your why and stay there and don't let it go. Just continue to look back at that and realize realize the importance. Because just losing 100 pounds doesn't resonate with people properly sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it because of your health and because it's going to give you more longevity, a longer time to spend with your loved ones or friends, that's the most important thing there, Phil.
Definitely. It's, something that's going to put life on your years, right?
For sure.
People talk about adding years to their life, but having life on your years is important as well. And I'm pretty sure I stole that from a Lee Bryce song, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've heard it before.
Yeah. But yeah, it's got to be, it's got to be a true motivator for you.
Yes.
And simply losing weight or looking better in the mirror is not that motivating, for not motivating enough, right? It's part of your motivation, but it's not going to be that driving force. So that segues pretty well, Josh, I think, into our second point, which is the importance of being selfish in this journey and investing in yourself.
Yeah. I mean, once you have that strong why, then you have to invest in yourself. And by investing in yourself, we're talking about being selfish. Yes, you may have other things, external things in your life, but you still have to remember that you have to take care of yourself. Very important, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances, whether it's your job, whatever it is. Just remember to make sure that you're reaching inside yourself, making sure that you're following that. Investing in yourself could be any number of things, but it always comes back to your why, Phil, right?
Yeah. The why is going to push you, give you that initial push, but we all have to be okay with being selfish, I think, is another big take home point. And the other thing that I love, when talking about this, is that making that investment in yourself, it's probably the only investment you'll ever make in your life that is guaranteed to give you a return on that investment. Okay.
Ooh.
So I think we talked about that a little bit in the episode of investing in yourself a few weeks ago. So let's give a little bit of an example of that. Let's say you get a gym membership, right? And you never go.
Right.
You just never go. You pay for it for 6 months, a year, whatever, and you never make it there. A lot of people would say that was a giant waste of money.
Yep.
However, you learned that maybe going to just a regular gym and running through a workout on a bunch of machines on your own is not how you're going to start that new journey, right?
Yeah.
Or it's just not feasible for you. So yeah, you spent a bunch of money that basically just went into someone else's pocket, but you learn something very valuable about yourself. And when you're going on these types of journeys or starting these journeys out, that is super, super crucial. Learning what's going to work for you, how it's going to work for you, and setting yourself up for success. So again, that's why I always say investing in yourself always guarantees a return on that investment, because worst case scenario, you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you're going to win, right? Best case scenario, you're going to make that big change that you're looking to make. That's the big powerful point on this topic for me, for sure.
No, I like that. That's great. Yeah. And I mean, just because you fail at something doesn't mean that it's a failure. It's a learning experience. And that's part of the whole process. I like that, Phil. That's really good. Very well said.
When we're trying to transform ourselves or part of our life, there aren't wins and losses, only wins and lessons. That's
a great,
that's something to keep in mind. So, bouncing off that a little bit, rolling into our next point here is, once you've found that strong why, you've made the decision to be selfish so that you better yourself so you can give more of yourself. The next step is proper goal setting. Okay.
Sure.
And this is probably one of the bigger hurdles people face, especially if they try to do it alone, but we'll get to that in a second. But making sure that we're developing SMART goals, right? So what does SMART stand for? There's a subject, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic, and they have a timetable. Okay. So SMART is that acronym. So a big key point here, it's okay to have really big goals that scare the heck out of you, because that, along with your why, can be great motivating factors. But
Yes.
if we make it even just like the timetable unrealistic, that can throw us off. And if we make it too astronomical, right, like way too big, super unrealistic, our subconscious is going to know the difference and say, come on, man, you're not going to do that, right?
Right.
Are you really going to do that? So that's why again, I think in our episode we use the weight loss example. You want to lose 100 pounds, and that scares the crap out of you. But with the right things in place, it is realistic, and it is possible. It takes some extreme effort, but it's very possible. So using good goal setting to set up your initial goal. And then I think our other big point was more about smaller goals leading up to that bigger goal, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think if people take goal setting and they think about somebody making a sculpture, right? It's one chisel strike at a time. It's little by little. And then those little details start coming in, revealing the larger picture of what you're doing. And it's super important. And I think I talked about in that goal setting, goal setting and keeping a journal. So that and you have these small goals that you reach and write them down, set them weekly, daily, whatever, hourly, whatever it's going to help you to stay on that path. I think it's very important.
Keep that mindset up, and
for sure.
Use smaller goals at smaller time periods that help you actually develop a plan to your bigger time period, which goes really well with your journaling. The next thing though could be, even though it's fourth in our series, might be the most important, because it's going to make goal setting much easier, and it's going to make your ability to be selfish and invest in yourself and strengthen your why. And the next thing we want to just sort of recap from our series was getting the proper guidance and support along this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with guidance, Phil. You have to find people that are very knowledgeable in whatever path you're choosing, whatever journey you're choosing. Find the people that know about it, that have done that have been down that road before.
Yes.
But even before that, I think we should talk probably first, Phil, about the support before you even, let's back up. Before you even go and find the guidance, make sure that you have the support around you, whether it be family members, friends. If you have all these negative people around you telling you you're never going to do it, or it's stupid, or it's not going to be beneficial for you, guess what? You're never going to do it, because you're always listening to these people. Surround yourself with the important people that are going to have your back the whole time through all those rough patches that you were talking about earlier. Anytime you get a setback, injury, loss of income, broken down car, whatever it is, you have those people that you can lean on that aren't going to pull you down. They're going to push you up and help you along the way. And at that point, then you can slide in and find those people that can help sharpen that by giving you the guidance that you need. Don't you think?
Yes, definitely. I agree with you 100% that support is probably slightly more important than
why I backpedal.
Than the guidance piece. No, you're good. You're good. They're both super important, but the support is important, because take what you and I do, for example, right? I'm with my clients a couple hours a week.
Sure.
Right. They are home with parts of their support system way more than they're with myself or with you. So if the people around them are not, and they might not be directly negative toward you, right? It might not be like pestering all the time, like, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to make this change? But it could just be that you're trying to eat better and they keep buying Oreos,
Sure.
or you're trying to get up in the morning and work out and they're saying, geez, every time your alarm goes off, you just wake me up, and and trying to
Right.
pull you into their world
Yeah.
and into their schedule. And it just doesn't work very, very well. Um, None of us really, we all think we're all a little adverse to being selfish, right? Nobody
Sure.
wants to see themselves as a selfish person. So
Yep.
anytime someone else is giving you a reason why you shouldn't be selfish, we're going to be, a lot of us are going to be very quick to pull back on being selfish where we probably need to be selfish,
Right.
and cater to those other people. That's a hurdle that I see way too often with what I do. And I'm sure you've seen the same thing as well, Josh.
Yeah, not a ton recently because most of the people that come and train with me, they have their friends that come with them. They
Oh, great.
carpool together, which is awesome.
Fantastic.
But yes, I mean, imagine how toxic it would be if your significant other was telling you that weightlifting was stupid or you
Yeah.
don't need PT, just walk it off, or
Right.
you don't need to go see that guy. That's a waste of money.
Yeah.
Why are you buying lettuce and why are you making salads? That's stupid. Let's eat, I don't know, Chef Boyardee.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're not trying to go down the path with you.
Hmm.
So the main thing is trying to get the people around you to go with you because one,
Right.
it's not just going to benefit you, but it's going to benefit them also.
Right.
You might actually spark them to kind of follow you, and maybe it will turn out good. So
Exactly.
having toxic people is just it's like trying to walk through
Right.
quicksand. It just sucks you in.
It just sucks you in.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the negative spreads way easier than the positive, unfortunately.
Oh,
Um,
unfortunately, you're right.
Especially when we're trying to make big changes in our life. I think
Yep,
that's really true.
it
Um,
is.
and the other thing to bring up here about the guidance with support is those people, those experts that are going to guide you, um, are going to be giving you that support, right? And trying to
Yes.
help you show those people in their life uh, that they should support you.
Yep.
Um, so again, that's why having a good, strong support system and going to those people around you in your circle that you trust and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is really why I want to do it. This is why I need to do it. Here's how I want to go about it. Here's the person that's going to help me do it. What do you think? Can we try doing some of this together? I don't expect you to do anything for me, but
Right.
I would love your support and your love and support through this change I'm trying to make, and making sure that that's one of those first steps that you do before you actually take the initial step to get going
Yeah.
is crucial, I think.
I have a great one for you. Just in my house alone,
Yeah.
uh, my wife is a working lady,
Mm.
and she's supporting me and with my endeavor, my fitness studio, and trying to
Sure.
get this going. So she's had to make a few sacrifices along with me. So you
Mm.
better believe that we had this talk beforehand.
Yeah.
And if anything goes bad, it was always her idea.
Right.
I'm just kidding. But no,
uh,
seriously, Phil, seriously,
yeah.
having somebody on the same page. So it's really kind of how you lay it out to them.
Right.
You know, you're gonna have to sacrifice with me.
Hmm.
I'm gonna sacrifice too.
Right.
I might not be pulling in X amount of income for a little bit, so I'm gonna try to do this and that. And it's
Sure.
but it's working. It's working because we're both on the same page. We're both
Mm.
striving, and she wants to see me succeed, Phil.
Exactly.
So,
And at the end of the
but
day,
if
yeah,
no, go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but at the end of
No,
the
it's good.
at the end of the day, if those people in your circle truly do love and care about you, they do want to see you succeed. It's just
For
real
sure.
important to be as transparent as possible with those people and
Yep.
share your why with them. Share that those things that are driving you to make that investment in yourself. Have them help you with your goals, right? If they, if they're
Yes.
not like, when you talk to them, if out of the gate they're not, yeah, go after that, go do that.
Yeah.
Have them help you with your goals. Have them help you start this journey, and
Yep.
have a little bit of stake in it as well. like that example that you just gave, Josh, I'm in the same boat. Recently started my own,
Exactly.
venture too. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
And yeah, when the people around you really love and care about you, they will. But it's just important that even when you know they're going to support you, it's important to get them invested in it as well. Because
Yes.
when you both hit some turbulence in that journey, which is probably inevitable, that
Yep.
turbulence isn't just going to affect the person on the journey, it's going to affect their support system as well. And if you're all
Yes.
on board with it together, it's going to go really well.
Yeah. I mean, just, rally around each other
Yeah.
and
You'll get through it.
yeah, I mean, especially if you talk to them first and you have a real game plan.
Mm,
So, it's kind of like goal setting. It's like,
right.
it's kind of similar to the goal setting part of it. So it's whatever, it's financial, emotional,
Sure.
whatever it is, as long as you have somebody an equal partner in your journey, then
Mm,
you're definitely going to succeed more. It's not guaranteed because not
right.
everything is guaranteed, but like we talked about with the weight loss thing, if you lose 80 pounds instead of 100 pounds, it's still 80 pounds. I mean, it's still
Incredible.
amazing.
Yeah. Right.
So if I end up after this year not having 40 hours of billable clients and I only have 32, I'm doing pretty well
Hey,
still,
yeah,
aren't I? So
you're right.
it's a mental game too. It's the positive. Like you got to stay positive no
Yeah.
matter what, even if it's crappy. You just
Yeah.
hey, grin and bear it.
Right.
Like hey, I had a bad week. Oh well,
Right.
let's button up and try it again next week.
Yeah. Look where I've gone, and look where I started. Look where I am. Look how far I've gone. I've had
Yep.
good weeks. I've had bad weeks, and I've made it through. We'll make it through this one. You're right. Mindset is so important, and I think that kind of brings us to our next point in this sort of wrap up episode, which is we talked about all these things individually at length in the individual episodes. We've kind of hit the highlights here so far, but
Yeah.
all of these, it's not like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. All of these are
Right.
kind of happening together at the same time. And I think it's just important to remind folks that by doing these things and doing them well out of the gate, it's going to make sure that there aren't any obvious hurdles, right? You might find some hurdles and a few logistics here and there along the way in your journey that pop up that are out of your control, or maybe you just didn't quite think about, and heck, maybe the people that are guiding you don't think about, right? I mean,
Right.
I'm sure you've had this before, Josh. A client comes on and says, "Hey, oh, by the way," and you're like, "Oh, well, that changes a lot," right? That's we need to make that appropriate adjustment. So I think that's important to say is that you don't absolutely have to do, like I said, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, or spend a certain amount of time specifically on each one. That's going to be organic and natural and different for everybody. But making sure we have a real good foundation in all 4 of these areas is going to make sure that we're not stumbling out of the starting blocks, so to speak. And that when we hit the turbulence specifically early on, when these new lifestyle changes or habits or this journey isn't quite a habit yet,
right,
that you're going to make it through, you're going to be more successful, you're going to be less likely to drop off, and you're going to be that much more likely to be the person and be where you want to be at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you had to step back. It's not always going to, it's not always going to be a smooth road. There's going to be potholes but it's like that in anything. It doesn't matter. What you do in life. There's always going to be, whether it's a death of a loved one or you lose your job or the economy tanks out or whatever it is. These are the types of things that you're talking about, like these little bumps in the road. And you just have to prepare yourself mentally. I think be mentally prepared all the time. That's part of the cohesion of everything we're talking about. Really, I think it starts with your mind and then blends with your heart.
Yes. Mental, emotional, and physical strength, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about. And controlling one last thing I'll say here before we wrap it up, controlling what you can control, which are all 4 of these things we've talked about, is going to make all of those things you can't control, which there are way more of, by the way,
Way more.
that much more, they're that much easier to navigate, right? Controlling the things
Yes.
that you can have control over is going to make the things you have no control over that much easier to navigate. And that's what these 4 steps really do for you as you kick off a new venture in your life to fulfill your true purpose.
Fantastic. Well said, Phil. I like that.
Awesome.
This is very good.
Well, I was inspired by
Yeah.
your analogies over the past few episodes. So I knew I had to bring my A game today.
Right? Yeah, I know. I didn't have as many today, but I did speak a little bit more. And on that point, before we wrap this up again,
Yeah.
because we keep saying we're going to wrap it up and we keep chopping it.
Sure.
My daughter said to me, she goes, "Dad, you have to talk more.
Mm.
You have to talk more on the podcast." So I made a concerted effort today, everybody, to talk more because I listened to her. She's the general.
That's right. You did. And you did fantastic. I love it. I love it.
So, yeah. So with that, Phil, people are going to want to know where they can find us on social media.
Yes.
So they can go to the show notes. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And Phil and I both have our own private pages. It's all in the notes. Do you have anything else to add, Phil?
No. No. Yeah. Find us on social media at Strength of Purpose Pod. Again, Josh's information, contact info, and social media, as well as mine, is in the show notes. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, and would, as always, really appreciate people tuning in. Don't be afraid to leave us a 5-star rate and review. We really would appreciate that and appreciate your feedback. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, or maybe you're on audio and you want to watch us, you can find us on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you here next time. We will be having an interview next time, our first interview actually, with Kelly Flagg of Kelly Flagg Lifestyle. So make sure y'all tune in for that. She is fantastic, a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that interview. So make sure you all tune in next week for that. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Take care.